Hello, Cardinals. We are working on Investigation 4.2 today. You'd find this in your textbook on pages 83 and 84. I'm going to talk specifically about Part B, a computer simulation. What we're going to do is I'm going to read you the part from the book, and then I'm going to slide my screen over to the actual simulation. So we're going to kind of flip back and forth between screens, and you can observe this and then do the information in your notebook. So Part B, computer simulation. For number 12, it says, this computer simulation uses data gathered from seismic stations during real earthquakes. Observe the pattern of waves as your teacher plays a few seconds of the simulation. After a few seconds, your teacher will pause the simulation. While the simulation is paused, respond to the following questions in your notebook. So you can find your questions in the textbook, and you can also find the questions here in front of you. So we're going to be doing 12A, B, C, and D after I play a few seconds of this video. So here's your simulation. I can rotate the Earth. I'm going to rotate it so you can see the inside and just a little bit of the outside. And what this simulation does is when I hit play, it's going to create an earthquake. And then you're going to observe the waves as they travel through the interior of the Earth. Okay, so you should be observing the P and S waves leaving the earthquake epicenter, which is right there. So at this point, you should answer questions 12A, B, C, and D. And then this is where you might sketch in your notebook, draw those. Now that you're done with 12 A, B, C, and D, we're just going to kind of look at a schematic of the Earth's interior. Here you have what is called the epicenter, and you can see as the P and S waves travel through the interior of the Earth, there are these shadow effects, and we're going to see those in a little bit, because as the waves go through the different substances inside the Earth, the solid steel center core, the liquid around the core, it causes the waves to travel in different ways. So we're going to move on to 13. You're going to observe as I play this a few more seconds, and then when the simulation is paused, respond to the following questions in your notebook, 13A and 13B. Okay. What you're seeing now is you have the surface waves, which are yellow, you have the S waves, which are blue, and the P waves, which are red. And then this information is going to be hitting different recording stations. So here's your different recording stations up here. These symbols stand for different recording stations. And if I move the Earth a little bit, you can see how the waves are traveling not only through the interior of the Earth, but also across the exterior of the Earth. And these right here are recording stations. So right now, station CHTO is getting its first information from the waves, the first seismographic information. So at this point, you should pause the video and answer 13A, B, and C. Now that you're done, let's look at number 14. I'm going to play a few more seconds of the video, and then when it's paused, we're going to discuss the questions with your group and then do some responses. So you'll have 14A and B. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to go back to what it looked about right there. Hit play. And now you can watch as the waves travel through the interior of the Earth and what happens when the waves meet the inner core, the outer core. Okay, so you have the inner core. The waves are reflecting backwards. The P waves and the S waves are reflecting backwards. And then the waves change as it goes through the interior of the Earth. You can see the information here meeting the seismograph stations. So I go like this. So you can see the S waves travel through the interior of the Earth, all the way through the inner core and outer core. They travel in different ways because of the density of that material. But the S waves do not travel through the inner core or outer core. Okay, if you look here, you can see the S waves and the P waves as they travel across the Earth's surface. So I'll reset it. Watch the whole thing. The beeping is when the information hits different recording stations. So on the left, you can see the seismogram from the different locations. You can see when the S wave hit, the P wave, there's sub waves, which you're not going to worry about in 8th grade, but you'd have the sub waves between the S and the P waves. But you can see the actual seismograph, the recordings at those stations. Once you've finished this, and if you ever get time, you can actually load different earthquakes. You can add earthquakes that happened and you can play those different earthquakes. So this one's occurred in Southern California. So once you're done with number 14, and you've had some chance to look at the seismic waves simulation, you should have 12, 13, and 14 completing your notebook. This is a great diagram to maybe copy in your notebook if you get time. It just shows how the waves travel through Earth's interior. And when you get done, you do have a reading, Earth's interior, read and complete the guided reading, and then continue working on any vocab terms. So your to-do list would be, there's a lot today. Step A we should have done it in class. And then step B would be in front of the computers. If you have any questions, please let your teacher know, and have a great day, Cardinals.